Ever since the God of Destruction, Lord Beerus, was first introduced to Dragon Ball fans, we have wondered what the depths of his power truly are. And even now in Dragon Ball Super, after Goku has obtained the mighty Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue transformations, he has still not come close to the Destroyer himself. However, with hints of a possible new transformation coming, fans are starting to wonder, will Goku surpass Beerus in the Tournament of Power? And should he? Well, in this video, we're going to break that down. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you can see all of my content right away when it comes out. Alright guys, well today we are breaking down that question of whether or not Goku will or should surpass Beerus in the current Tournament of Power. And joining me today is someone you've seen on my videos in the past, and his name is...
Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today, also known as Detective Q, and this is a very interesting topic, Mike.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I continue to see people commenting this on my social media as well as in my comments section about their different theories as to how Goku will surpass Beerus during this arc, or whether they think he should. Some people have said that they do in fact think so, and others kinda resist the idea. Where do you stand on this issue, Qaaman, and do you think it's a possibility that it will even happen?
Well, this is a very interesting question, Mike, because I thought in theory Goku should have surpassed Beerus ever since he had Super Saiyan Blue if we go back in time to not knowing what the future events of Super would be, because I'm like, if Super Saiyan Blue is supposed to be this much stronger than God, and Super Saiyan God held his own Beerus that well, then he should be stronger than Beerus by now. And then by the time we got to the future Trunks arc and Goku kept getting stronger and Beerus was still like well above them, it made me wonder and say, how the hell has Goku not actually passed Beerus yet? And I think the interesting thing is that now when you look at the Tournament of Power and you're looking at all of the strongest mortals in different universes, it makes sense at this point, or at some point, that Goku has to surpass Beerus, because now we're getting into this whole thing where there's this secret mortal that has a power that surpasses gods. And if this character is Jiren and Goku somehow defeats him, or if there's something else that goes around, this would ultimately make me believe that it's destined for Goku to surpass Beerus at some point.
Yeah, and that's really just kind of how the franchise and how the show goes in general, where the main character, or at least Goku, will always surpass these obstacles that are in his way. And every single god they've introduced up until this point, aside from Beerus, Whis, Daishinkan, Zeno, Goku has surpassed all of them. You know, King Kai, Kami, even the Supreme Kai wasn't as powerful as Goku when he first showed up, so, you know, I feel like it's just a trend that it's really going to go in the direction of. And we know that there is that interview with Akira Toriyama where he said, oh, I have no plans for Goku to surpass Beerus at this point, but we know how Toriyama kind of like changes and makes up his mind as he goes along. Like when Battle of Gods the movie first came out, you know, they asked Toriyama, oh, do you have any plans for the future of Dragon Ball? And he said, oh, I don't have any plans at this point. And we know now in Dragon Ball Super there is a lot more that happened after that, so I feel like it's just a matter of time until Goku does surpass Beerus. Now, whether or not he should do it in this arc is something different. I feel like for me that Goku probably wouldn't be best to surpass Beerus in this arc, just because of a lot of the other things that are going on with Beerus and Goku's rivalry. I mean, when you think about it, Goku has been training under Whis as well as Vegeta in order to be able to finally fight Beerus on his level and even surpass him. So if Goku in this tournament, you know, fights Jiren and we find out Jiren is stronger than the God of Destruction, who is stronger than Beerus, and Goku surpasses Jiren or rivals his power, then that would kind of make it seem like Beerus is an afterthought as opposed to being this really big character who really started and kicked off Super to begin with. You know what I mean?
Right. I would definitely have to agree with that, and I do think that when you look at how Dragon Ball Super is expanded with so many characters like the Angels and all of these other characters like Zamasu, who has power that's, you know, obviously rivals these gods of destruction, it makes you wonder that the gods of destruction isn't the end-all be-all, and at some point there has to be a point where their power is limited. And quite honestly, unless Goku surpasses Zeno, which I doubt because Zeno doesn't really fight, he just erases, I do think Super is at a point where they have actually done a good job of writing Goku not being too strong, because one of the problems with prior to Super is that Goku's the strongest guy, so you always have to try and create villains that will rival his power. But now it's like you have so many entities that can rival his power, you're kind of safe to, you know, pace out how strong he gets throughout the series. So I definitely think that's definitely good for the franchise.
Yeah, although when it comes down to it, there also are 12 gods of destruction. So for all we know, if Goku surpasses Beerus like right now, that could just really be the beginning of his surpassing the other gods, because not only are there 12 gods who theoretically could all be stronger than Beerus, you know, to at least some degree if Toriyama decides to write it that way, but then there is the top 5 ranking in which Daishinkan in the manga has stayed to be number 1, but in the anime they haven't exactly stated who the strongest of the 5 is yet, and I'm sure that Goku isn't even approaching that level, and for all we know Beerus isn't either, and neither is even Whis. So there's still like a bunch of different tiers I think that Goku can go up, but if Goku does surpass Beerus in this arc, I think there is still kind of a way in order for Goku to be able to stay behind Beerus in terms of power after this point, which would be if maybe this transformation Goku achieves is more of a short-term boost, or is more of like something he unlocks and it's so powerful, kind of like I guess Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 the first time, or it just like makes Goku's power like turn off for a period of time, or reverts back to before he was in the tournament, so he still isn't as powerful as Beerus, but now Beerus actually knows Goku can theoretically surpass him. What do you think about that idea?
Well, I think the problem is my biggest question here is actually dealing with Vegeta in conjunction with what you're saying, Mike, because in this whole thing, Goku and Vegeta have been these two rivals that have had, you know, power that was somewhat similar to each other. So in theory, if Goku were to surpass Beerus, what would this all say about Vegeta? And if we're looking at this whole Limit Breaker Goku thing, everybody's calling it Limit Breaker Goku. If that is a form that is exclusive to Goku, does this kind of shaft Vegeta and throw him down to dust? Or do you think this is now a time where we're also going to have, similar to Digimon Season 3 or 4, I keep remembering which number it is, where Takuya and Koji are so much stronger than everybody else once again, and Vegeta's going to rise to prominence? That's my quick question to you.
Honestly, the way that Dragon Ball has kind of gone ever since Vegeta was introduced is whatever Kakarot can do, so can I, is what Vegeta will say and show. He learned how to sense just by seeing Goku do it. He's learned how to go Super Saiyan. He's learned how to do everything that Goku has done, and at times even surpassed Goku, so I think that Vegeta could theoretically achieve a form that Goku achieved, so long as it's not like a specific form that only Goku can. And if that is the case, I really hope the writers will try and balance that a little bit and give Vegeta his own distinct form, maybe Gohan or Goten and Trunks their own distinct forms, you know, like maybe move in that direction, because if it really comes down to Goku just being a million times stronger than everyone else on the show, or Goku and then Vegeta being that strong and everyone is left behind to an even greater degree, I feel like that will kind of make it a waste, especially because when you think about it, Qaaman, during this tournament's build-up, they kept pushing all the other Z fighters, you know, look how strong this guy has gotten, look how strong Gohan's gotten, he's actually punching Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and then Goku unlocks a new transformation and is vastly even more powerful than everyone. It would kind of make it seem like they're just throwing all of that progress away just to give Goku a little bit of progress. At least that's my perspective.
Right, and I definitely would agree that other than Gohan, it doesn't really seem like anybody else would even have the potential to surpass Beerus, and Gohan's really only doing this for the benefit of his family.
Yeah, but that's definitely one of the things that makes Gohan a really good character, that he's not just fighting because, oh, I want to get stronger and fight people, it's also because, well, I have a family I'm trying to protect. I mean, I guess Goku does that to a small degree, but that seems to be more of an afterthought, whereas in Gohan's mind, it's more of a present thought. But also, Detective Q, what about the angels? We have to really think about them as well, because all the angels, to our knowledge, are stronger than their respective gods of destruction, so that's just another tier above Beerus that these particular fighters would have to reach. So just because Goku or Vegeta surpasses Beerus doesn't mean that Whis can't just stroll in and one-shot them casually, kind of like he did in Battle of Gods with Beerus when he was freaking out after the wasabi. So do you think that Goku would surpass two different levels? And if he doesn't, you know, like, what do you think's really gonna happen if Goku and Vegeta surpass Beerus? Do you think that maybe the angels will say, okay, well, now there's a stronger entity than our god of destruction, maybe it's time to replace him.
Well, that's actually a really interesting theory because, like, when you look at the angels exist to kind of counteract the gods of destruction. So, in theory, the next thing you would have to surpass would be the angels, but why would you need to surpass the angels? Aren't they supposed to be nicely protecting the universe? Well, this goes into the whole evil angel theory that everybody's been having so far, and I think the best way to view this is that if the angels were to ever go rogue, it does make sense for Goku to surpass them in conjunction, so that now it's like Goku's stronger than everybody else besides Zeno himself and probably Zeno's guards. And I think that that would eventually kind of conclude how strong Goku is, that he was this random kid living in the wilderness that became Super Saiyan, fought artificial things, fought monsters, and now he's on the level with gods. And not only he is on the level with gods, he's stronger than every god besides the guy who can erase everybody with a breath. So I think that would eventually be the next goal he would have.
Yeah, and the whole thing behind the evil angels theory too is that a lot of them think Daishinkan, the great priest, will also be evil. And, you know, say what you will about Goku jumping not only Beerus and the angels, but there's probably a really big gap between Whis and Daishinkan. So, you know, I'm not sure Goku's necessarily going to get there at this point. Maybe he will, maybe they'll just say screw it, he'll be stronger than everyone, and that's just how the show will end, but I'm not too sure at this point.
I agree.
But let us know your own thoughts down below in the comments section about if you think Goku will and should surpass Beerus in the current Tournament of Power. Also, don't forget to check out Detective Q in the end card and down below in the description. And as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future. Yeah, Goku could surpass the scrawny cat Beerus, but he'll never be as strong as my left perk.